The Holy Gospel according to Mark.
Glory to you, O Lord.
The apostles gathered around Jesus and told him all that they had done and taught. He said to them, "Come away to a deserted place all by yourselves and rest a while." For many were coming and going, and they had no leisure, even to eat. And they went away in the boat to a deserted place by themselves. Now many saw them going and recognized them, and they hurried there on foot from all the towns and arrived ahead of them. As he went ashore, he saw a great crowd, and he had compassion for them, because they were like sheep without a shepherd. And he began to teach them many things. When they had crossed over, they came to the land of Gennesaret, and moored the boat. When they got out of the boat, people at once recognized him and rushed about the whole region and began to bring the sick en masse to wherever they heard he was. And wherever he went, into villages or cities or farms, they laid the sick in the marketplaces and begged him that they might touch even the fringe of his cloak, and all who touched it were healed. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, O Christ.
You may be seated. Well, I certainly didn't expect to be standing here this morning. I found this out last night. And one of the other things I didn't expect was the psalm today. Because I think I've mentioned it before that I get a daily devotion from Luther Seminary called God Pause. And what they do is through Monday through Friday, Thursday and Friday, they go over the readings for the week. And on Tuesday is usually the day for the psalm. And this week, the psalm that they chose was Psalm 23. I think we all know Psalm 23. It's sort of like one of the first things we memorize after the Lord's Prayer. And it's something that people carry with them and remember it when they're in distress. And sometimes when you're just being thankful for it. But I thought I'd read it just to refresh memories. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord my whole life long. You know, we always find this when we need it. And when I hear these and I think about things, I look to our stained glass there in the corner. And there is Jesus the shepherd holding the lamb and children gathered around him. And to me, it's really comforting. And to tie it in with today's gospel, like Jesus is showing compassion. And that's what the gospel today is about, compassion. And the word compassion, it isn't pity, it isn't empathy. It's a lot more than that. It's a real thing. And the Greek word, which, believe me, I have no way of pronouncing, so I wouldn't even try, but comes from the word that means intestines. Interesting, right? And think about it, though. Compassion is something you feel with your gut. You know, it's deep. It's in you. And one of the things about it It's like when we show compassion, it's because we ourselves understand the pain that someone else is going through because we've experienced it. And that's why you have groups like Compassionate Friends, AA, Al-Anon, and other groups, because these are all people that share pain. And Jesus understood that. And he looked at this crowd of people that were around him at the lake and saw their pain and healed them. And you wonder, how did these people know where Jesus was going? Well, I read something about the Lake of Galilee, or the Sea of Galilee, as it's called, but it's just a lake, and not a particularly large one either. And it's surrounded by hills. So the people were able to see the disciples in the boat and where they were going. And the only place they did find some alone time was in the middle of the lake. But it's like we have to be able to see Jesus where we go and know he's with us through all kinds of trials and tribulations. The other thing, too, is like, not so much in this sanctuary, but I know the church where I grew up, where we also had a stained glass of the Good Shepherd. If you looked up at the ceiling, what you saw was the hull of a boat. And a lot of churches are designed that way. And we need to be in that boat. We should be in the boat with Jesus because he's with us. And we need to let other people know that they're not alone, that someone is walking beside them. And even in your darkest hour, you know you will get through it because you have a loving Savior at your side. And personally, for me, it's helped me get through the tragedies in my life. And I know my older sister had so many tragedies. Like, I couldn't believe all the things that happened to her. And she never lost her faith. She knew that she wasn't alone. And I hope you all know you're not alone. So let us now join in our hymn of the day, which is in the back, and is, you will like this one after. Savior, like a shepherd, lead us.